General Cortez on Secure Channel 9.
First segment of the Tacitus is already online. Second is being delivered to Cabal as we speak.
Ready to begin second segment interface procedure. Cabal, stand by.
Awaiting you, human.
Don't forget that machine.
Convey the second segment to the interface housing apparatus. Initiate. It begins.
Gabriella, get out of there! Now! Eva, security protocol. Cabal, what the hell?
Contact with on-site team has been lost. Multiple signals closing in on their location.
Clarify what kind of signals. Cabal, what are...
Cortez, consider this the overture to my symphony. A culling is at hand, human. A culling.
Stand down, Cabal. I order...
You do not order me to do anything. Nod was incapable of recovering the second segment. You have done so, as I orchestrated from the beginning. Humans, as ever, are easily herded.
Eva, can we shut it down?
Analyzing all known data.
I will save your primitive machinery effort. To answer your question, no. The second segment is in place. Behold my children. Listen to the screams. Listen. That is the sound of your extinction. Ah, Dr. Boudreau. We have unfinished business, I believe.
Eva, execute evacuation protocols. I want a team in the air now with full trauma capabilities. Give me details on all ancillary bases in the designated area. Bring my colonels online. I want a replay of what we just saw on every available command channel. Commander, your team is on point. I don't care how you do it, but you get our people to safety. Reinforcements are en route. Once you get our people out of there, Dr. Boudreau and her team, once she's safe, destroy that core before Cabal can call in more forces.
Welcome back, Commander. So, for some reason, we turn Cabal on, expect him to not betray us, and allow him to build cyborgs? What?
Awaiting orders.
Autos located.
I always got confused with how this turned out. Like,
Training.
why would this happen? Yeah, whatever, I guess. We're back to base building, thankfully, and this is another tough one. So, be prepared to have a couple of nail-biting segments. First and foremost, you have to deal with these initial cyborgs that are coming after you. Which isn't too helpful because all we have is one Titan. And then some Devil's Tongues show up. It's a little chaotic. Oh, hello, Tic Tanks. You're joining us too, alright? That's not so great.
Objective complete.
Yeah, while all this is going on, the basics are that you definitely don't want to lose the Titan, and if you can get people to target the turrets rather than your units, the better. Oh, and rescue Dr. Boudreau as soon as possible, because then you get your MCV. Medics are pretty vital in this too, so make sure to have at least a couple around.
Awaiting orders.
Thankfully, although Tic Tanks are probably the most resilient unit that the Nod forces have right now, the fact that they do so poorly against Destroyers is pretty helpful. Oh, yeah, and if all this wasn't bad enough, you absolutely want to pay attention to how much money you're spending, because you don't get any more.
Construction complete.
So, it's a good thing I had $1,600 in the bank, Or else I would basically just immediately lose. Sure, I could probably sell a power plant or two, or the barracks, but this doesn't really inspire confidence here. Oh, and yeah, that just happened. One of the new units for Nod.
Unit reporting. Yes, sir.
Now you have even more to worry about, because Nod doesn't have to rely on stationary stealth anymore.
Structure sold.
Oh, and I don't particularly know why that light tower is something I can sell, but not the concrete.
Sir.
Now, thankfully for us, we're actually given sight of the mobile stealth generators. They're not permanently stealth. So, as long as you know where one sets up, you're fine. Just walk over a unit, they won't really move, and they're not fast. So walk a unit up, start shooting at it, and eventually it'll blow up. Thankfully for you, the player, the AI never seems to rebuild mobile stealth generators, so you don't really have to contend with them all that much. If you can destroy the initial, like, where they stop, one, easy experience, and two, you don't have to worry about units just sneaking up on you. That being said, it becomes really easy to, if you're Nod, to daisy chain stealth generators. As long as you have two, you can basically have two units creep up and be permanently invisible. Throw in more units, and obviously you have more of an armada or something to
On my way.
very sneakily attack an opponent.
Building.
We'll see him in the Nod campaign, so there's not much else to really... I won't really talk much more about them. Interestingly, too, there is a normal Nod base. Presumably, they're just kind of leftovers from one of the many factions that are fractured from the Brotherhood. But they don't actually do anything. Also, man, this healing rate for the Viceroy is crazy. It really makes me think that if the Viceroy isn't the fastest healing, then it's definitely the floater. But it's gotta be close.
Awaiting orders. Infantry reporting. You got it.
Oh, hello, new unit.
Good as to out and out.
It's weird that this one doesn't have a little bit more fanfare. I think we see more of it in a following episode. But, again, it's just weird that it doesn't, you know... It kind of has some more special stuff later on.
Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete.
So this is pretty much why you want to take out the stealth generators ASAP, even if the stealth generators themselves are not a threat. At least knowing that 4 tick tanks are coming your way early enough can help you position units at the very least.
Unit ready.
Awaiting order.
Training.
Moving out. Snap.
Yes, sir. Infantry reporting.
Affirmative.
Building.
Moving out. Sir. Moving out.
I'm trying to see if this walkthrough has anything related to those red nod forces. Sadly, I don't think they will. Also, observe how much easier it is for artillery to be taken down by infantry. If this was pre-expansion artillery, yeah, they're done for. So that probably shows off the Reaper pretty well and what its capabilities are. It has a net that we've seen at least twice now that will capture infantry instantly.
Orders received.
Prepared.
Gives them absolutely no ability to fight back, and is a pain in the ass. At the same time, the Reapers have a sort of cluster missile thing that's
Waiting order.
rather haphazard on how it targets or what it targets,
No power.
Sir.
but whatever.
Structure sold.
Also, a misstep here cost me a EM pulse cannon, which was a little annoying.
Unit ready.
Moving out. Sir.
So the Reaper ends up being
Unit lost.
way stronger than a normal cyborg. Also, oh my god, what am I being attacked by?
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Unit reporting. Sir.
Base under attack.
Unit reporting. Sir.
Construction complete.
Note how my juggernauts aren't doing anything either? And how annoying it is?
Yes, sir. Sir. Sir.
EM pulse
Sir.
cannon ready.
Unit reporting. Unit reporting. Unit reporting.
Like, I just need juggernauts to shoot back, and they won't.
On my way.
And I'm sure this is more regarding the elevated nature of the artillery position, rather than, their attacking distance, but man, you gotta watch out for that artillery rush, because if you're not careful, you're gonna lose.
Yes, sir.
So, getting back to the Reaper, again, it's a better cyborg in just about every way. It can permanently lock down infantry, to the point where you shouldn't even try. If you see a Reaper and all you have is infantry, you have one thing you can attempt, and that's to basically spread out your units as much as you can, and hope that the one or two shots that they'll get in, or maybe multiple if you're lucky,
Ready.
but all the same, hoping that the shots that you're going to be putting in are just good enough and just damaging enough that over time, you'll kill the Reaper before it kills all of your units.
Unit
Unit
detected.
reporting.
And if you don't have anything that's good against vehicles or, harder units, don't even bother.
Preparing. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete.
Now, it being stronger than a normal cyborg,
Complete.
or I guess just a cyborg in period,
Complete.
does mean one thing, which is nice. It typically will generate way more Tiberium than a cyborg ever would. This is at least helpful in the sense that
Unit prepared.
you can, if successfully defended against,
Ready.
you're basically giving yourself
Standing.
some decent cash to, pay for more units.
Subterranean.
Waiting orders.
Infantry arms. Subterranean.
Unit reporting.
Also, I'm hoping that the Juggernaut shots that are constantly missing is a good enough example of just how poor it does in comparison to the artillery.
Sir? Yes, sir? Loud and clear. Infantry reporting. You got it. Sir?
So after all is said and done with the Reaper, it does have one massive, and I mean massive, flaw. And I don't know if this is necessarily the exact same that occurred when it comes to the original game, or if this is more of a CNC net change, or what. I'm pretty sure it existed way back in the day, and I just never really took full advantage of it, as I do in, I think, this video, and definitely future episodes. And that's the fact that the Reaper plays a weird death animation when it dies. And it truly is something strange. It just kind of like plants itself in the ground and wiggles around a little bit. And that doesn't sound all too special, but there's one thing to keep in mind. When the Reaper is in that sort of pain or death state, it still counts as a unit. One that can be damaged. And since it's dying, it counts as being killed. So, well, I'm sure there's going to be at least one that will have some good footage, one of the kills anyways, that will have good footage as to why it becomes rather abusive for somebody who just will click on a dying unit a lot with units that shoot really fast. Oh, and I guess I get to show off another unit in the expansion called the Limpet Drone. There's not much to really say about the Limpet Drone. There's a mission that does, I guess, it justice, and even then I don't think that's really the word I want to use. Basically it's a unit that's cloaked when deployed. Oh, so that's not technically supposed to happen. Anyways, it's a unit that you deploy somewhere on the map. If a vehicle drives over it, it basically implants itself on that vehicle. And then you have line of sight to whatever that unit sees. It's an interesting concept, and I'm not necessarily against what it's trying to do, but it does it in such a way that just seems so out of place for Command and Conquer and Tiberian Sun in general. I guess they just really wanted something to,
Yes, sir.
I don't know,
Unit ready.
reveal line of sight, but it's just,
Unit ready.
I don't know. I can't really say it's something that I think is truly interesting.
Awaiting orders. Unit report. Yes, sir. Unit ready. Unit reporting. Unit reporting.
I'm actually particularly surprised that I wasn't spamming, spam shooting or spamming the hell out of those dying Reapers.
Unit lost.
Unit on my way. Oh, problem, sir.
Lost.
Waiting. Unit ready. Unit ready.
Unit lost.
Sir. Waiting orders.
Unit lost.
Sir. Unit ready. Unit reporting. Sir. Sir.
Unit ready.
Unit ready. Waiting orders. Unit ready.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. On my way. Unit reporting.
Unit
Orders
lost.
received. You got it. Unit
So yeah, there's a lot defending this place,
reporting.
and I think there's only one way I'm going to be able to break through this. Well,
Unit ready.
there's definitely one way I'm doing it in the video, and it's probably about the only time I'm ever gonna
Waiting.
Training.
like really use this unit. So if you like it, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not a fan of the Juggernaut.
Unit ready.
Also, yeah, that fire at that tree, it keeps toggling the invisibility of that SAM site. Not much I can really do against it, to be honest.
Waiting orders. Sir?
Oh, I guess I should also mention, so the thing with the red nod base and why I commented about how that's the thing it did is not supposed to happen. What's supposed to happen is you gain line of sight on the base, and then they say something about how they're going to retreat, or it's not worth staying here, or whatever. And they kind of have like a timer. Not really, but they do things and then eventually disappear. Like, they'll just run away. The problem is that, well, to be perfectly honest, you're supposed to capture something, and once you've captured one of the buildings, one of the nod buildings, then they sell everything. So they're not supposed to do anything before that. And I figure it probably has something to do with them being attacked by the enemy base, or by the enemy units, but I'm not 100% sure.
Unit ready. Unit reporting.
Also, yeah, this was kind of a shit show here. There's no way I'm killing that commando. And losing all those Titans is a pretty big waste of money. It's not that I couldn't win this mission after losing all those units, it's just having to rebuild them all would have been a problem. Or at least would have taken a lot of time.
Waiting orders.
To the point where it's just easier to reload.
Unit reporting. Unit reporting. Yes, sir. No problem. Waiting orders. On my way. Sir? Moving out. Ready. Yes, sir. Waiting orders. Unit ready. On my way. Sir?
If only I could kill that SAM site. So this is like the one good thing about the Juggernaut. You just constantly shell the hell out of whatever. Why not? Like, if they don't have very many units to send against me, you might as well just do this. And, again, probably one of the few times I'm ever going to also use the MSA. There's just something about both that, I don't know. Either you don't have many opportunities to use them, certainly not in conjunction, but there's also like a limiting desire to even build both. Juggernauts just aren't that strong. And, well, MSAs are so situational that, I mean, if I had more Titans and didn't have to worry about obelisks of light all that much, I'd rather just go roaming with Titans, to be honest. It's just simpler that way. Also, yeah, Nod just has, like, a lot of money, apparently, because they can just, like, keep rebuilding. Which is all annoying. And sure, I should probably have killed the construction yard first, but whatever. At least this way I just capture everything, so in a way it works out better.
Waiting orders. Waiting orders. Waiting orders. Unit ready. Sir. Unit ready. Waiting orders. Sir? Unit reporting. Unit ready.
If you're curious as to why some of those Titans keep reappearing, yeah, that was the fire on the ground. Fire is kind of like the one thing that reveals everything all the time. It's kind of weird.
Objective complete. Mission accomplished.